Today we are having the morning tea. Is 11 a.m. in Lagos, Nigeria, and we're going to be discussing a very engaging topic today. Something every one of us are yearning to listen to, especially the men. So today is Thursday, and we usually have our Thursday morning tea. So it's going to be like a tea and discussion session. Yeah, I have a very lovely creamy tea here. Mm. So what are we discussing today exactly? Welcome. We are going to be discussing how long is not too short a time for a man to last during sexual intercourse. When you say how long does a man last, the typical question that most Nigerian men keep asking are wondering if they are coming during their sexual intercourse too early or too late. So we're going to start by discussing what a term IELT means, because this associates with how long a man lasts during sexual intercourse. IELT stands for intravaginal ejaculatory latency time. It's the time that it takes a person with a penis to ejaculate during vaginal penetration. So, how long, as we usually ask, is too short a time for a man to last during sexual intercourse? Let's start with this blog post by Dr. Michael Louis on Healthy Male, which states that during sexual intercourse, most men ejaculate between 5 to 10 minutes, and research has shown that the average time to really ejaculate after penetration is 5.5 minutes. So going forward, I would like to introduce myself before we continue. I'm Jennifer Jinkoe, your usual host, and this live program is actually brought to you by Lineage Pharmaceuticals Limited. So we continue with our topic. Most times, ejaculation that happens less than 1 to 1.5 minutes after penetration is regarded as premature ejaculation. This therefore motivates the usual Nigerian phrase, which terms a class of men that ejaculates way too early, 1 minute man. So nobody wants to be termed a 1 minute man because it sounds like a ridiculing phrase per se. But the truth is, when you ejaculate within the timing of 1 to 1.5 minutes, it's just termed premature ejaculation. And the 1 minute man is just like I've said, used to represent a low sex gamer. But this is not right. It's what some men used to have fun when they're over the table drinking. The situation of premature ejaculation may therefore not be a thing of concern for partners who do not have a problem with this. That is why, in as much as people in Nigeria, Africa tell me to be a problem, it's not basically a problem if the partners involved are not worried about the situation. On this note, we might as well project the importance of intense and prolonged foreplay to make up for short-timed ejaculation. So, if a man short times during ejaculation, it doesn't mean that all the game during the sexual intercourse is totally wrong. A prolonged foreplay can really cover up for that. And for crying out loud, some women even prefer foreplay to even the actual sex that leads to ejaculation. So I don't see what the big deal is. But if you just want to enhance and be better, keep listening to this live program. So, in a case where partners go through any form of distress in association with this quick ejaculation, then there is a need for treatment. African men, especially Nigerians, let's go to the amebo part, have been classified as high gamers on this one. My brothers, they have been classified as high gamers on this one, and the pressure is getting worse because men discussing with their friends on drinks over time have claimed that 3 to 5 minutes is a no-no. But this is an average time, it passes. But they will not agree. They said 3 to 5 minutes doesn't means that you're not doing it well. 1 minute is more like a taboo evil. It is not even allowed. This is actually a serious matter. The pressure is getting worse out. But here is a medical fact. Vaginal sex that lasts 10 to 30 minutes is definitely considered too long. Again, the average woman is always a good match to this pressure anyway. And so 10 to 30 minutes is our accepted average time in this region. Funny, isn't it? It's really funny. I don't even know what we should make out of a situation of women who will motivate men to fight to be that long in bed. It's the women that are causing this pressure, if you ask me. So it's so much pressure already, and the women are really to be held responsible for all this pressure, making the man want to, last longer than the usual. According to Healthline, many people consider the end of sex to be once all parties involved have climaxed, truthfully. This may be achieved through touching, oral sex, vaginal sex, and other forms of sexual activities, or a combination. So when I say all parties involved have climaxed, you know the rest. I don't even want to discuss it. This may be achieved through touching, oral sex, vaginal sex, and other forms of sexual activities, or a combination. Other forms of sexual activities. We don't want to mention that. Using the IELT as a baseline, it assumes that penile vaginal intercourse is the standard. Sex, however, should be very pleasurable, as we know. And this comes down to personal preference. It depends on how you as an individual prefers it. It depends on how or what you term as, being satisfied or being pleasured when it comes to sex. So it differs according to individual. So while some people want a long sexual encounter, others want something really fast and aggressive. Like some people are just violent, preaching violence even in the bed. Like I don't know. Okay, so we go back to some of the biological factors that, of course, may affect the time duration of sex. One of the biological factors is age. Age is a very strong factor. Now, sometimes when some men go down in age, it takes a longer time for them to be excited, for them to have blood flow through their penis and, make them erect in a quicker time, or even make them ejaculate in a very prolonged time. So age is a factor. Even with the women, some women don't get that easily aroused when they come up with age. So it actually affects the situation of how long a sex would last. Then we have the biological factor of genitalia. Sometimes the shape of the genital, the shape of a woman's vagina, or the shape of the penis, whether it's straight or is the curved kind of penis, could actually affect how stimulation and the time duration of sex happens. So you're encouraged to read more on how a biological factor like genitalia affects the duration of sex. But truthfully, the shape of your genital can actually affect how long the sex activity would last. Then another one is the sexual dysfunction issue. That is actually a biological factor on its own. So the sexual dysfunction issue directly relates to how premature ejaculation happens. That is the situation of premature ejaculation when a man comes within 1 to 1.5 minutes, or ejaculates between that short timing. So these are the factors that are biological that can affect the duration of sex. So if you want to last longer in the African methodology, there are a number of natural things you can take, like tiger nuts, taking enough milk, and staying on good fruit and diet, vegetables to help prolong. Garlic is a very good one. Garlic helps to elevate your sexual performance and all that.